boy, I first get money. And I'm playing that shit up, watch how you with that truck. King shit, nah.
Damn, I was just about to go to sleep, but chapter 1166 came out of the One Piece manga. I may not sound like it, but I am sick right now, but hey, I gotta drop this video. Like almost every other week, I have a brief understanding of what happens in this chapter, but overall, we're going through it together for the first time. Before we get into it, make sure to like and subscribe. Every week that a One Piece chapter comes out, I make a chapter review just like this one. It's super chill, we go through the chapter for the first time together. Overall, it's a vibe, so join us if you want to. But yeah, let's stop yapping and get straight into this chapter. Alright, so we had a double spread today, and Yamato's on it, so I think what I'm going to do is skip it. So the name of chapter 1166 is New Tales, and we pick up right where we left off last chapter, after Roger and Garp shot their biggest and strongest attacks at Rox, who was doing reverse seed. The first panel, we see Rox, Roger, and Garp all just in the same vicinity, but Rox is the only one conscious, and he's thinking to himself, did they really break the curse? I'm not even gonna lie, just looking at this panel, he does look regular now. Wait, are you telling me, you're telling me to break doing reverse, all you have to do is just use a lot of hockey? Like that's the solution? Are you serious? Okay, you know what, let me let me wait, okay? I'm gonna wait it out, okay? The next two panels, we see Roger and Garp obviously unconscious. Garp said this. He said, if we shoot this attack, we're gonna be done for the fight. So, hey, at least they actually did put their all into it. Damn, actually, it really makes you think, like, bro, if Luffy's supposed to fight Emu by the end of the story, he's gonna have to have Haki on par with both Roger and Garp combined. I mean, at least in God's Valley, right? But that's kind of crazy to think about. We see a close-up of Rox, and yeah, the curse is lifted. He doesn't have the fangs that he had before when he was a demon. And he says, come on, stay alive. This island is... I'm pretty sure he's about to say the island's about to disappear or something like that. It's just been said over and over again that the island doesn't exist, and it's eventually just going to go away or something like that. But in the next panel, we see three silhouettes, and yeah, it's pretty obviously Fartling in the middle. I mean, bro, who else has this silhouette, bro? And so yeah, we confirm it in the next panel. I'm not gonna lie, there are farming here. I can't even cap. They actually look cool here, but like, dude, they're crap. I don't even remember that girl's name. And what happened to the other girl that was with Fartling before? Bro, this group is just so all over the place. Just terrible performance during God's Valley, bro. While Rox is looking at them ore farm, he says, damn it, it's too late. Roger, Garp, run. You can't die here. And then we see Garling pick up his sword to stab and finish off Rox. And in the background, Rox is saying, oh yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to say. Thanks for stopping me. I knew about Garling finishing him off through the spoilers, and someone was like, Rox is the only D to die without smiling. Is it far-fetched to assume that he smiled when he said thanks for stopping me? Like, I can genuinely imagine, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Rox isn't the type to just smile like that to himself, but in this situation, kind of, right? Oh yeah, just for agenda real quick, I just want to rub it in people's faces. Yeah, Rox never knew Garp before this, by the way. Yeah, guys. In the next page, we see Rayleigh and Gabon actually carrying Garp and Roger. Garp asks what happened to Rox, and Gabon's like, you're worrying about the enemy? And Garp's like, I'm your enemy too. And then Roger asks Rayleigh what happened to Rox, and Rayleigh confirms that he was killed. Alright, I was expecting more from Gabon during this arc, and especially when we found out that Rayleigh and Gabon were running back to the island, but it's better than Bogart. Chat, do you guys know there's a Bogart agenda out there? I personally think it's a bit. I don't think there's actual people pushing a Bogart agenda. The way I view a Bogart agenda is the way people view like a Hikari agenda, but it's like just not justified. Bogart is completely irrelevant to this story, so I don't understand why anyone would put stocks into that. Hikari is a different case, but hey, I'm venting at this point. In the last panel of the page, this is a crazy sight, but the island collapses. Like, bro, if y'all look at it, you can see the boats on the shore, and then you see the island itself sinking. That's crazy. I saw agenda surrounding this about how Garp, Roger, and Rox's fight caused this, but no, like I said earlier in this video, it's been said over and over again that God's Valley wouldn't exist after the tournament. And so all that happened is that they sabotaged it, and Ibu decided, okay, you guys are just still going to erase the evidence. I think people forget that the tournaments aren't something that people even remember. They're literally a rumor to the outside world, so obviously the evidence just isn't there anymore. The way Imu is doing this though, like, how is he doing this? You get a double spread of basically every participant of the God's Valley incident, like their condition and situation right after. Their crumbling island was swallowed by the waves and consumed by fog, like curtains closing on a grand stage. That was the essence of the God's Valley incident. The silence in the incident's wake lasted only a moment before a massive bolt of lightning split the heavens, and with that, the curtain rose for new tales to unfold. What? So Rox died, and then the narrator took Rox's ability to drop a bar? Is this what I'm seeing right here? Man, y'all know I like a good bar. Wow, okay, bro. In the next page, we switch perspectives to the Roger pirates. The people on the ship are begging to open the treasure, but they have to wait for Roger to get up, and eventually he does. But they genuinely do not care, because what's more important to them than their captain being safe and sound is Shaggy. Are these guys okay? Bro, she's been attached to Rayleigh this entire time. Like, bro, let it go. I am so happy that we're past this Shaggy BS, bro. I cannot stress this enough. The way Oda has absolutely tortured us with the Kuja pirates, bro. Like, oh my gosh. Are they Kuja? I think they're Kuja, right? It's not only Boa, right? I really don't know, and I don't care. Anyways, as they're about to open the treasure, Roger hears a cry, and then a goo goo gaga. And so they open the chest that the sound is coming from, and they find the baby Shanks. I've been waiting for this panel in specific, bro. This is crazy. Now we have to find out, how did they know this guy's name is Shanks? Yeah. We switch perspectives once more, and we go to how the news coverage was falsified. Apparently only one aspect of the story was highlighted, and it was the heroism of Garp. Alright, I was just thinking of this. Okay, I remember back in Sabaody, almost everyone on the island knew to like kneel before the celestial dragons when they're walking or something like that. So doesn't everybody know that they're assholes? So why do they have to cover up that they're being assholes? I might be forgetting something, like maybe Sabaody is an exception to the rule, but like I also don't remember this, but I'm pretty sure people knew that if you hit a celestial dragon, an admiral will come. So they know that the government backs up these assholes as well. So what is going on here? I could be ranting about something that has a literal answer in the story, and I might be getting fried in the comments right now, but hey, just someone let me know. The middle panels of the page, we see a huge amount of people just glazing Garp and saying that Rox is dead, and then we switch to the Navy headquarters. Garp is reacting to the news, and he's like, bro, what is this BS? And Sengoku says something pretty interesting. He says, relax Garp, he only wrote that stuff because the government paid him off. Okay, you know what? I was about to say that Morgan's is just untouchable, but I just realized why he is. It's really likely that Morgan has something set up to where if he gets disappeared, something will drop about the world government, so they know that he's a threat. Or maybe people would find it suspicious if he gets disappeared suddenly after he drops some BS. Regardless, it's crazy that he's still going on like this. Morgan has just been he's been playing these guys. The world government and the Marines are massive organizations. If you count the member nations' armies, we're talking about tens of millions of soldiers worldwide. It's impossible to account for everyone's actions and motivations. So if the top brass ever do strike me as insane, I'd simply turn a blind eye to it. Alright, before I say something crazy, I'm just gonna continue reading. Alright, so Garp and Sengoku start fighting. He said, it's just like I said, you're just another promotion chasing fool. And Sengoku says, shut up, what good can you do barking from the bottom of the cliff? Garp then says, if you ever stray and get corrupted, I'll kill you myself. And Sengoku says, how reassuring, I guess that's what friends are for. So Sengoku asks him if he's quitting, And then Garp says basically the same thing he said to Roger. There are still things at the bottom of the cliff that need a guard dog. Alright, I was about to say that Sengoku was an absolute bum from the start, but okay. After reading what he said, basically what he's trying to say is that the only way to actually make change is to go higher on the hierarchy. And so eventually, he did become Fleet Admiral. I mean, sure, but like, what did Sengoku even do? It's funny because as I was reading this one scene from Ohara just kept replaying in my mind, where Sengoku was like, are you trying to question the top dogs or whatever he said? Just shut up and follow orders. And I'm like, bro, this guy's genuinely like lost. Sengoku makes an empty point here because he goes the highest of the hierarchy and does absolutely nothing. So I whatever, bro. We cut to Elbaf and we see Loki crying. Like he's just, bro, he's crying so much that the animals are scared. We see a flashback and some dialogue from Rox. You again? I'm not letting you on my ship. How many times do I have to tell you, Pipsqueak? You think I want a brat on my crew? Man, what is this? The guy I want isn't giving me the time of day, but his snot-nosed brat won't leave me alone. And we see Rox laying right next to Loki. Loki then tells him, hey Rox, I think you're Nika. He's like, Nika? The warrior of liberation who will destroy the world while laughing. Huh. Okay, the spoilers said that Rox was the one who said he was going to destroy the world, but actually what he says is, destroy it? I'm aiming to be the king of the world. Besides, if anyone's got that sort of power, it's Herald. He's like, what? He then tells Loki about the Gamblrr giants that he wants and that they're slumbering somewhere, and the only one who can put them back into play is Herald. I'm gonna continue to rally the rogues of the world. So just imagine if Herald and I teamed up, who could possibly stop us then? Loki asks, so why aren't you and Pop's allies already? And he says, because of love. In the final panel of the page, Rox says, but I'm gonna come back again and again. I don't care if it takes 100 or 200 meetings. And that's it for the quote. Loki's looking at the little ass newspaper from his big ass hand, and he continues crying. In the next page, we get a double spread. Someone is trying to report a vicious assault. Herald is the culprit, and apparently he's attacking another giant, some thug, but it's an insanely brutal scene. And we see Herald, he's like, you still don't get it? The giant on the floor who's getting beat up by Herald is like, I understand, I'm really sorry, I'll never steal from humans again. And Herald, yo, he just continues going, bro. Trash heaps like you are responsible for the terrors in our race's history, and that's why we can't be trusted. We only desire to peacefully engage with the world now, but they can't trust that. And yeah, that boy's getting fried. Like Herald won't let up. He actually continues punching him while he's out cold, and someone's telling him that. He says, I didn't want to jeopardize Elbaf's chances of joining the world government. That was my only reason. And we see a little flashback to when Rox said, help me out. And Herald continues and he says, that was my only reason for not helping him. I forsook my closest friend as he begged me for aid, and I left him to die. There's no turning back now. I will never ever forgive a giant who does evil. Obviously, after this very powerful scene and all the onlookers hearing this guy literally say, bro, do I have to say it again? I will never ever forgive a giant who does evil. And guess what the newspaper says? Giant King loses it. Okay, bro. It fries me because, like, bro, they're literally looking at him say it out loud. How did they let this happen? It confuses me because Emo was like, okay, this king is something that we haven't seen in so long. I'm going to use him. But the world government is genuinely like working against Herald here. We see Dragon in jail after God's Valley. Dragon tells Garp, I'm gonna quit the Marines. And he says, okay. Then Dragon says, and you? I despise you. Garp says, okay. I do not know what's going on here. I saw this in the spoilers and I'm still confused till now. I mean, first off, Garp didn't know about this and Dragon didn't know about this, so I don't know why he assumes that Garp knew about this. But also, Dragon literally becomes a deadbeat and gives his son to the same guy he said he despised. So like, what are we doing here? Also, he just exposed him to the guy that he would assume would try to brainwash him into becoming a Marine just like him. Man, I don't know what is going on here. We're back at Elbaf and Ida is calling out for Herald. And Herald says, I've made up my mind. Elder Ja Rule, I don't care about appearances anymore. Haruden, Loki, you're both my precious sons. I want you to get along when I'm gone. Yeah, right, bro. We cut to Marineford, but he didn't finish what he was saying. He says, do what you can to support Elbaf. So Harold has sailed all the way from Elbaf to Marineford, and one of the Marines at the headquarters tells Harold that he's not allowed to land. Harold doesn't care though. This guy is literally on Marineford, and he says, high-ranking Marines and the leaders of the world government, I ask that you please hear me out. Then Harold grabs on his horns and snaps them off. Chat, I saw this, and guys, bro, I cannot imagine this. What's a good comparison? I think a good comparison would be like ripping off a finger. I don't even think that's a good comparison. I don't know, but this is crazy, bro. This guy really pulled on his horns and just snapped them off. Apparently the Marines also acknowledge how crazy this is as well, because they're crying and sweating. Like, bro. In the biggest panel of the double spread, he says, allow me to atone for the sins of the past 1,000 years. I apologize for every wrong the giant race has committed. The children of Elbaf are being raised to live without harming others, and so that one day they may walk hand in hand with humanity. I do all this to prove our unwavering commitment to peace. In the final 2 panels of the chapter, Harold says, I'll do whatever it takes to atone for our sins, even if it means becoming a oh my, I forgot he said this, bro. I saw this in the spoilers. Oh my goodness, bro. And then Emu is the final panel of the chapter, and of course the chapter ends. Okay, so as I was reading this, I wanted to sympathize or empathize. I don't know which word it is, but it's one of those words. I wanted to understand Harold. But bro, that last line is ridiculous, bro. Even if it means becoming a slave, bro, get up. Look, there's a lot of nuance when it comes to Harold here. I'm not gonna lie. Like, people completely ignore all the things that goes into Harold's dream here. At the moment though, I feel like it's a lack of understanding. Like, if Harold was on God's Valley, I think he would understand why Rox was being that way. Wait, no, I just realized Harold does know what the world government does. Bro, the other chapter he attacked a ship because they were attacking an unaffiliated country. Bro, I just remembered that. Alright, you know what? This is an issue, genuinely, because I totally forgot Harold saw what they're doing, but he's still going after this dream. It really makes you think. I don't know, you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comments. I definitely have to reread earlier parts of the story, but more specifically, I have to reread more parts of this flashback because I'm really trying to understand Harold here, because I think a lot of people don't feel like doing it. Mostly because we follow pirates and, you know, the world government is bad, yada yada. But this is a bigger problem, right? This is beyond just world government bad. This is about a kingdom who wants to change. But yeah, that's a good chapter. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't insane, but I really like this last part. Yeah, decent chapter. I'll rate it maybe a 7, 8 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.